Hello, my name's Tanya and this is my channel Just Let Me Sew. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you are well wherever you are. Apologies I haven't been around for a few weeks. Life has been pretty busy. I mentioned in my last vlog that I've just started a new job. Working full-time. I haven't worked full-time since I had children, so it's been a bit of an adjustment, but the good news is it's going well. Working with some really lovely people. I only have to go into the office a couple of times a week as well, which is lovely. It just makes that work-life balance a little bit better, easier to juggle as well. So that's going well. So thank you very much for coming along today. If you are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please do consider subscribing. It would be lovely to have you along. I will start off by saying what I'm wearing, and this is not a me-made make. This is just a new look jumper that I actually got in the sale recently. Did not think I would be wearing a jumper the last week in May, but it is currently raining outside. It's miserable and I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. So that is the British summer for you, isn't it? Just never know what you're going to get. Last week it was beautiful sunshine. This week it's raining and it's miserable. So there we go. What have I been up to since I was last here? Well, I mentioned in my last vlog that I was planning a surprise trip up to Scotland to see my sister, and my daughter and I went along and it was a fantastic surprise. It wasn't quite the reaction I was expecting from my sister. I thought she would, be sort of overjoyed and happy, but she was literally gobsmacked when she opened the door. She just was like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Which is quite funny. And then when I said, oh, there's another surprise in the car for you, when she saw my daughter, then she was really excited. Oh my goodness, you're here too. But it was just a brilliant weekend. It was so lovely to see her, and it makes you realise that life is just too short, too precious to not take those opportunities when you can to be with your family and your friends. So trip was a big success. Another thing, and a very exciting thing I have to share with you is I am part of a group called Surrey Sews. Surrey is in the south of England if you're not based in the UK, and we have a little sewing group, and we are putting together an afternoon tea event. So a bit like the Frock Tales events, but we're doing ours in the afternoon. So there'll be tea, fizz, cakes, sandwiches, all that sort of yummy stuff. We're going to be doing a catwalk. There'll be raffle prizes, goodie bags, all that sort of thing. And I am helping to organise that event, and we are going to be releasing tickets for that event on the 1st of June. So if you are interested in coming along to our afternoon tea, it will be based in Woking, which is in Surrey, really easy to get to. It's a main line, fast line into London as well. Loads of hotels and car parks nearby. So if you are interested in coming along, make sure you follow Surrey Sews. I will put the hashtag along the bottom. Surrey Sews is on Instagram. So follow us, and all the details of how to book your ticket will be released on the 1st of June. We've got limited availability of 100 tickets, so don't wait. If you want to come along, 1st of June, be there to come along and get your ticket. We've also made it as affordable as we possibly can, so the tickets aren't going to be too expensive. And we are also going to be running a challenge. So if you can't get to our afternoon tea, we are going to be doing an online sewing challenge as well, and details of that will be released a little bit nearer the time. So we're hoping as many people as possible can get involved in the event in some way or another. So 1st of June, that is your date to watch out for. Right, sewing. What have I been sewing? Now I have to admit, I really haven't been able to do much sewing at all since I started my new job. And I kind of knew that that was going to be the case while I'm trying to find my feet and work out a pattern that works for me, for my family, how tired I'm going to be and everything. I knew I wouldn't be getting much sewing done. And what I've been working on is a pair of trousers, a pair of work trousers. And I thought I would get these sewn up before I started my new job, but I didn't. I cut out the pattern and the fabric, and unfortunately I didn't get around to actually sewing them up. And I think it would have been much better to have a nice, quick, easy project to work on while I started my new job, because in the evening I'm just so tired. I don't really want to be scratching my head over anything too complicated. So it took me a few evenings to get as far as I have, which is actually, it's not too far, not too bad rather. I have done a lot more than I thought I would, but they're not finished, so I can't show you them on or anything, but I can show you as far as I have got. And I have inserted the fly, which went in quite easily actually. I've done the pockets and the pleats at the front, and they've got a dart at the back. And then I've sewn up the side and the inner leg seams. And the pattern that I am using for these is a simplicity pattern that I have shared on this blog before. It's a simplicity pattern, Simplicity S9826. And it's one of those great patterns that comes with lots of different things to make up an outfit. So these are the trousers that you can have as cropped or long length. There's a little camisole, and then there's a little cardigan as well that you can have. So a complete outfit. So I like those kind of patterns. The nice thing about this new pattern is that they include a QR code for how to do your zip fly insertion, which then leads you to a YouTube video of is it Brittany S. Jones doing a sew along of how to do it. And I really like videos to learn from. I'm a very visual learner, so that's great. It's not like perfect instructions. There still were points where I didn't quite get what she meant, but it was much better than written instructions, and particularly Big Four written instructions. So I think that might be a new thing that they're introducing in Big Four, is to have that QR code, which I really appreciated. I would say that they are very long. I'm 5'4", and I'm going to have to chop off at least 4 or 5 inches for them. Finished garments, it doesn't say on the actual pattern packet, but it probably does say on one of the pieces. And they are very wide as well. So looking at the pattern, it doesn't seem like they're that long, but when you try them on, they are very long. So those are the trousers that I have been working on, and I'm still working on. I need to insert the carriers and the waistband, and then hem them, and hopefully that'll be done. So they are made up in a nice navy poly crepe, quite a heavy weight that I got from Goldhawk Road. The other thing I have been working on, and I have to say I have been working on these for quite a while, is the Lydia Naomi Meadow overalls. She released these, I think, about 2 years ago, and I bought the pattern as soon as it was released because I just fell in love with it. I had it printed and I cut out all my fabric, and then it just sat in one of my project wallets all that time. And I think the issue was I didn't get around to cutting it out until a little bit later on in the summer. So by that point I thought, oh, there's not much point making them up now because summer's nearly over. And then the following summer, I'm not sure why I didn't make them up that summer. I thought, can't really be bothered, or wasn't that taken with them. And then now I'm thinking, right, got to get them made up. So I have. Now, part of the issue as well with these is I made them up in a grey linen as a sort of wearable toile, which was probably a little bit silly of me because they're quite an involved make. I didn't know that until I started making them, but there's a lot of pattern pieces and it is quite a fiddly make, even though it doesn't seem it. And that paired with the grey linen, it's not really, grey's not really like my nicest colour, particularly for a pair of overalls. So this is them. I'm not going to try them on because they're not finished completely. I haven't hemmed them. And also, as they look now, they really don't look very nice at all, just in the grey. But what my plan is, and I've already started doing it now, is to embroider the front of them. So I've started doing these little yellow flowers here. I'm going to do a couple of other colours, and I want the embroidery to go all down the side there as well. So it will break up some of that grey, and they should hopefully look quite pretty. Some of the design features, what I really like is at the side, so you've got the ties there and then your arm comes through there. The side bit has got elastic in it, which really cinches it in and just sort of means you don't flash anything if they are a bit gapey. So they're nice and secure there. It's got pockets. I just went for the side pockets. So just side pockets there. You can also include massive patch pockets at the side, and this is why they're called the Meadow overalls, because she imagines you walking through the meadows, picking flowers and putting the flowers in these big pockets here, which I don't think I would ever get round to doing. I don't really waft through meadows these days, so I left those off, but nice big pockets there. And you've got two options for the ties. You can either have them fitted and then there is a zip in the centre front, or you can have them as the sort of loops and then you tie them up at the front, which is the version I went for. I think that's a bit more versatile of how tight you need them, less fitting involved for that. You can have the full length version or a sort of romper length as well. So I've gone for the fuller length. So what else can I say about this? Now, I felt a little bit disappointed with the instructions on this pattern because I really enjoy Lydia Naomi's YouTube channel. She does these brilliant sort of marathon sewing sessions where she'll sew up like loads of her own patterns in a really short space of time. And she's so funny. She's very professional. She went to design school and, you know, she's a pattern maker, isn't she? So she really knows her stuff. But I felt quite disappointed with the instructions because there are 3 different formats that you can get your instructions in. I printed mine off with Fabuloso and I went for the booklet, and the booklet seems like a little bit of a wasted resource to me because there's not a single picture, no illustration in there at all. It's just really dense text, which for me was just too much. You know, not even Big 4 do it like this. If you want pictures, she includes a QR code and you can scan that and that will take you to pictures. And there is also a YouTube sew along as well. So I found it quite tricky. Neither one of those 3 options was clear enough for me. That may just be me, just not really understanding it very clearly the way my brain works. But I did have to piece it together between the 3 formats. You know, I was jumping between the pictures and then the YouTube and then the written. She leaves off a few times. I've written it on my booklet envelope. Several times she doesn't mention specifically if you're doing like right side to right side or wrong side to wrong side, which you can work out if you've got some sewing experience, but I think she should really be explicit on that, particularly with the pictures that she uses. The fabric looked similar right side and wrong side, so it was a bit harder to tell what she was doing. But yeah, I've written on here, use the photo instructions and YouTube sew along. The instruction booklet is hard to understand. Yeah, and you have to look closely at the photos then, which is a shame, as I said, because she's such a fantastic sewer and YouTuber. I think perhaps if she'd just done a little bit more on the pattern testing and had a bit more honest feedback from pattern testers, maybe that could have been ironed out. I don't know, but anyway, I may well give them another shot in a nicer fabric. I'll see how I feel. So those are the Lydia Naomi Meadow overalls. Next thing I am going to start sewing on, and I have cut out my pattern, my fabric, is a New Look pattern that I have also talked about in my last vlog, and it's this one, the New Look N6707, and I'm making the big collar with the frill in a navy gingham that I talked about in my last video, and I'll try and link that up here if I remember to. So in a navy gingham, I think it's like a poly cotton maybe. So I've got that cut out and I'm looking forward to getting on with that because I think it's a bit of a simpler sew. So hopefully it won't take me too long and will be a good one to crack on with in the evening when I get home and I'm just too tired to do anything else. Next thing I want to talk to you about is my Me Made May reflections. Now, I haven't really been actively participating in Me Made May on Instagram or on YouTube either this year. I just found it quite hard to, I don't know, to remind myself to take pictures or to even have the energy to take pictures of my outfits. And some days I'm not wearing anything particularly interesting, or I might wear the same outfit 2 days running. So I just don't really do that anymore. Perhaps next year I will. But what I've been doing instead is just keeping a sort of mental log of things that I am wearing and how I feel about these things that I'm wearing. And I mentioned in my last vlog that I have been feeling some of the things I have in my wardrobe, I've had them for quite a long time, and I wear them out of a sort of sense of obligation that, oh, I made this, so I should wear it, but it doesn't really reflect my style anymore. And I don't really like wearing it, but I wear it because I feel like I should. So I think there's that sort of, I can't remember the name of the lady, Marie Kondo, is it, who says things should spark joy in you. So I've taken those things out of my wardrobe that don't spark joy, and I'm going to look at repurposing them or rehoming them somehow, so I can sort of draw a line under it and also take stock from it, that I'm not really into sort of big florally colourful patterns at the moment. I'm preferring more plain fabrics at the moment. Things that can be a bit more versatile, that I can wear with lots of different combinations to get the most out of my wardrobe. And what I did at the weekend was I actually got down, I probably tempted fate by doing this, I got down my summer wardrobe and switched over my autumn winter clothes. I say tempted fate because it's now miserable outside and I haven't really got that much warm clothing to wear anymore because I've put it all away. But what I did find when I was doing that and taking out my summer clothes, interestingly, a lot of my summer clothes I have had for a very long time. Some of them have been handed down to me from my mum, some of them I've just hung on to. And I was trying to think why that is, because some of those clothes I'm not really that fussed by. I don't really enjoy wearing them that much. And I think the reason might be because I've got in my mind British summer is so short and we don't really go away on holidays abroad that often. I think I don't really feel like it's worth the effort of making summer clothes if they're not really going to get that much wear, if that makes sense. So I just reuse the same clothes year after year, which isn't really a bad thing in terms of sustainability, but it just means that I'm not really that excited by my summer wardrobe. So I'm going to have a think about that and what I can do to try and get some pieces into my wardrobe that I really love making. I have definitely got things in my wardrobe for summer that I love wearing and I've been wearing for a good few years. And those are, there's a pair of culottes that is a vintage style pattern I have talked about in this vlog before. And some short sleeve blouses, another vintage Vogue blouse, a v-neck blouse that I wear a lot as well. So there definitely are things in my wardrobe that I love wearing, but there are some things that I think it's time to say goodbye to, definitely. Another thing I was thinking when I was doing my summer wardrobe was I'm not really that keen on making dresses, and I said this again in my last vlog, and I was having a good old think about why that is and what I can do to change that if I want to get some nice dresses into my wardrobe. And I think the thing for me, I talked about wardrobe malfunctions, and I was thinking if I could get hold of some like little black cycling shorts and wear those underneath. I've seen people wearing them where they sort of very obviously peek out from under short dresses, sort of like it, you know, it's intentional, it's on purpose. And I thought, well, that would be brilliant. Then I wouldn't worry that if my skirt was going to fly up, that I was going to be flashing the world because I've got some shorts on to cover myself. Also, having 2 young children, you never know when they're going to get into a little cheeky mode and just yank your skirt up or do something like that. So if I've got some cycling shorts, that might solve that problem. So I'm going to give that a go and see if that helps. So that is me for today. As I said, I think moving forward I'm going to be doing some quicker, simpler makes and maybe some easy dresses, like I said, to try and get a dress into my wardrobe, and just some nice little summer blouses perhaps as well. And take it from there, see how that works out in my new routine. But I hope you are well, whatever you are up to. I'd love to hear what you've been sewing. Are you in summer mode if you are in the Northern Hemisphere? If you are in the South Hemisphere, are you now sort of autumn, winter sewing? What have you got in your plans? I hope you've enjoyed today's video as well. If you have enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It would be really lovely to have you along for my future vlogs. So I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.